Record. Okay, y'all. Um, how did it go sending business asks? Okay.
I
Drop a
didn't
one in
die.
the chat. What? You
I
didn't die?
didn't die, so
You
that's good.
didn't die.
Yeah.
Okay, drop a one in the chat if today you feel more confident voice messaging and business ask than you did last week. Okay. Y'all, and this is why we do it. This is why we're doing it. There truly is no road forward that does not include helping other people share Plexus. There just isn't. And that's what we kind of talked about last week. And I know that some of you guys had kind of like a switch flip of like, I was doing this, I need to be doing this. The lights are on, let's go. And I see the change. And so I shared this in our chat. As of today, we have 5 brand ambassador upgrades for the month. It's the 17th of the month. We have had no more than 4 upgrades since January in a single month. And so I am really hopeful that as we head into the second half of this month, we will see that number increase. That is really the pulse here. How many people are upgrading to brand ambassador? Because at this point, most of our customers are VIPs. Now, there are, of course, still some people, which I don't know if like Rosie and Vicky, some of you guys who are newer may not even know this. Everybody used to come in as brand ambassadors. Like you literally joined Plexus as brand ambassador or you paid more. And so it was before they kind of redid the compensation plan. So like I have some people in my virtual office who wouldn't necessarily upgrade to brand ambassador. They already are a brand ambassador. They just don't share Plexus. So, but at this point, that is a pretty good pulse on how these conversations are going. And so I am really proud of y'all. I'm really proud of you for being open to feedback. I think that's a really kind of tough thing. And I know for me, sometimes it can even be tough as a leader to be like, hey, can can I give you feedback here? Like, do you want it? And so I just appreciate all of y'all being like, here's my message. And yes, I am open for feedback. Because that is how we grow. So there is a next step though. Because I think that is the most important thing, learning how to talk to people about the business. Okay. And now what we're going to kind of talk about today is like, what is our responsibility once people say, yeah, like, yeah, I would actually like to do that. So you've asked them, would you be open to a conversation? You've had the conversation and said like, this is, what it's been for me. And I'm curious, like, would you be open to letting me help you do this? And they say, yeah, like I would. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And y'all, it was so funny because I was on a Diamond Sprint call and everybody's commenting. Can like we need a map from Plexus, and we need corporate to provide us with like a here, like this is our job. And then like somebody comments in the chat and they're like, right, the person that's like, they're like, isn't that what the Fast Start program is? Question mark, enter. And Genevieve starts laughing. And she's like, oh, yes, that is actually exactly what the Fast Start program is. It's the roadmap. And so that's what we're going to talk about today a little bit, is what this looks like, what your responsibility is, some ideas for you, because we're all learning and growing and implementing. And so before we talk about Fast Start, I want to share something that Julie has done that I want all of us to do. So here's the steps. Somebody says yes, like yes, they'd be open to a conversation. Step 1, you're going to schedule a phone call. Okay. Do you have 15 or 20 minutes to chat this week? I'm free Wednesday or Thursday from 1 to 4 or whatever your window is, but you give them a window. So that's the first step. Schedule a phone call. It's also going to be really important, and I'm going to say this to us because we are all moms and we're all, not all of us are moms of littles. Most of us are moms of littles here. When you schedule this call, it is going to be important that you can focus. Okay. So you want to consider scheduling it during a nap time, scheduling it at a time where maybe your husband's home from work and you can run to the coffee shop or go, sit on the back patio, or you just want to kind of be considerate of this, because what you don't want is to schedule this first call with your new potential business builder, and then being drug away from Zoom constantly, right? It's one thing if it's like, hey mom, can I have a snack? Yes, you can do that, right? It's another thing if it's like chaos, you know what I mean? And so you really want to consider that when you're scheduling these specific kinds of calls with people who are like, you're kind of trying to impress a little bit with getting to understand them, and you want to hear them, and you want them to think like, oh, I want to do what she's doing, right? So schedule your phone call. Okay. After you schedule your phone call, I love this. Julie actually found this from Emily Roberts. Some of y'all have seen that we have like a product interest jot form. There is also floating around a business interest jot form. And Julie has done this. I have it on my list to do after we get off this call. You can go to Julie's profile, click on her link tree of Instagram, and you'll see like, what does it say, Julie? It's like,
Work with me.
work with me. Okay. So after you schedule your phone call, what I'd love for you to do is have this jot form that you can send to somebody. And you may add a question, like you may think, oh, I'd love to hear this before we get on the phone. Okay. But having something that you can send them and say, hey, can you fill this out before we get on our phone call? Just so I kind of know where you're at, what your biggest hesitations are. Like, I was thinking a question I might add is like, do you have any hesitations about the network marketing style of business? Like, I thought there's some good things that I might want to ask to kind of have in my notes before I get on a call with somebody, right? Have you ever done network marketing before? Have you been with any other companies, right? That would be really helpful to know on the front end, to where you're like, okay, they've been with 10 companies. Okay, I need to know that information, right? Or, oh, they were with one company for 6 years and haven't done that in quite some time. Okay, maybe there's some hurt there that I need to dig into. Like, I'm curious why you aren't with that company anymore, right? Like, just have that jot form. Say, hey, could you fill this out before our call? That way I can kind of make sure I can answer any questions you have. And maybe there's a blank in there that's like, what questions do you have for me? Right? Like, it just, I think, is good to have both parties kind of on the same page before that. So that was an idea that I have. Send that jot form before the call. And then what are you going to do on the call? Okay. You're going to hear from them. What do you want this to be? Why are you open to this? I think a question is, it's in the jot form, but like, how much time do you have to dedicate to this? Are you thinking like a couple of times a week, or like, do you really want to create some income from home? What type of income would you want to be making with this? You've got to leave the call understanding, what do they want this to be? Okay. And I also think this is kind of, there are going to be people who aren't open to a call. And that's going to tell you that maybe they're going to refer one friend or two, or maybe they'll make a post for you, but they're not really interested in a business at this point. Okay. And so it's all the and boths. But I think sometimes we lean so heavily on like, people will figure it out, or, it'll just kind of work out, that we don't come from this stance of professional business owner who's looking for shares, right? And I really started thinking back to all of the things that Paige did with me when I started. And these were some of the things that she did. And I think it's because she was a teacher by nature, trying to understand how she should teach me to do this. And I was very much like, I would love to replace my salary. That would be $2,000 a month. I have 30 minutes a day to do this. And I am one of those people who, like, once I say yes to something, I'm all in. Like, there's no backing out. And so she understood all of those things and then helped me move forward. Okay. And this is kind of where we're going to go into the next part of this call. I'm going to say ideally, because we're looking at the Fast Start program here, you're talking about somebody who's never shared Plexus before. And most of the time, they either don't know what they're doing, or they have a completely skewed idea of what they're doing because they've never done Plexus before. Okay. And if you've been with another company, you know that sharing Plexus is a little bit different because we're talking about health. We're talking about transforming your life. We're talking about, you know, things, root issues. Yes. Like intimate type things. And so it feels a little bit different. So I'm going to recommend that you schedule 3 30-minute Zooms in the first week. And here's what I love. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. I need to pull up that image real quick. Hold on. I had texted it to myself and then I didn't open it. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. So here is what I want you to see. Can you all see this little graphic? Let me see if I can like zoom in a little bit to where it's a little bigger. Okay. Okay. So when you, and this is business side, right? When you help somebody go fast start silver, okay, you are going to make a $50 bonus, okay? Plus, they are going to enroll 3 people, and that is going to give you about 15 pay points. Not about, it's going to give you 15 pay points. And that's going to be about $40 to $45, just depending on how the pay point goes that month. So you're looking at about $95 in your paycheck from helping somebody achieve Fast Start Silver, Fast Start 30, right? That you can see, I don't know if this is gonna, like, you can see right here the pay point, you can see right here the bonus. You can see that you do have 30 days to achieve that, okay? And I'll share this image afterwards, but here's what I want you to understand. If you look at this and you say, okay, I'm going to schedule 3 30-minute Zooms, and my goal in that 30-minute Zoom time is to help somebody achieve silver. Okay. You're making about $95 from helping them do that. That's about $30 an hour. Like, no, $30 a 30-minute. $30 a 30-minute for helping them achieve silver. Okay. Let's say $30 an hour because you're going to spend some time outside of that, right? But like, if you're breaking it down, like, is that worth it to schedule out 30 minutes of your time 3 days during the week? Right. And I think sometimes we just don't think about it that way. We think like, oh, I'm really busy, or I have a lot going on, or, oh, I don't know. And sometimes I think if we can just look at it and be like, no, the plan is I'm going to get on Zoom with them 30 minutes for 3 days, and I'm going to help them achieve silver this week. This week. I think sometimes what is happening is we know we have 30 days and we just don't have urgency, because how many of you have ever thought, oh yeah, adding 3 people in 30 days. Yeah, I can help them do that. And then you get to day 29 and you're like, what's happening? I thought this was going to be easy. Like, they were a shoo and they added 2 people their first day. Like, oh my goodness. I know I've had that happen. And I know several of y'all have had it happen because we've had the conversations or the messages like, day 0 means I can still help them earn Fast Start, right? Like, how many of y'all have looked at that Fast Start tracker and thought, day 0, I have 1 more day. Okay, here we go. And so I think what I was looking at this Fast Start tracker, I was like, sometimes we have to create our own program. Like, sometimes we have to create our own margins to give urgency, because this isn't just helping them, it's also $90 in my pocket. And if I can secure that in 7 days, what can I do in the next 23 days, right? Now, it's not going to be a perfect month, but you pick up what I'm laying down, right? Like it's that urgency. And if you can get somebody on a Zoom, so I actually wrote down, like, what do the Zooms look like? Okay. Zoom 1, Allie's going to be like, thank you for telling me what to do. Zoom 1 is going to be writing their first post together. Crafting their first post together, using their words and your template and crafting it together. Okay. Having them show you, what picture do you think you could use for your first post? Oh yeah, that's a great one. Okay, let's get that ready for you to post tonight at about 8 p.m. Okay. Okay, awesome. We've crafted your first post, and now we're going to start your list together. Because y'all, these are business builders that we're talking to, right? These are the Julie talking to Sarah who said, I would like to earn $2,000 a month and I do have time to dedicate to this, right? This is also Julie with Jennifer who said, I would like to share, slowly learn how to kind of have relationships again and do that. Julie can do these same things. Maybe it's not 3 Zooms in 7 days, but maybe it's 3 Zooms over the first month, right? Like it can still look the same. I need you to walk away. Go. Nope. We'll have snacks later. And so Zoom 1, craft a post, start a list, message 5 people together. Awesome. Let's go ahead and send some first messages together. I know this could feel really scary. I know for me it did, but I am telling you, it felt so good to tell my family about what I was doing and some of my closest friends. Here's one of my favorite messages for when I started. And y'all, that message is going to look different than our more casual open door message, okay? It's going to share a few things, almost exactly like the business voice messages. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm hopeful for. Here's why I think you should do this for me, with me. And would you be open to a conversation? But it's going to be written because most people aren't going to be comfortable voice texting right away. And you're going to help them come up with a message that they feel good about sending their people on this first Zoom. You're going to help them send 5 together. And then kind of picking up the pulse, you're going to go ahead and get an event on the schedule for them. Okay. That is going to give you, like, do you see how sometimes those things that we just did in 30 minutes are spread over the course of 30 days? Schedule the event. Schedule an event. You can talk to them on that Zoom about what types of events we have. The other thing that's going to be important, y'all, and this is going to be a hard one for a lot of us because we are really chatty. It's going to be respectful of the 30 minutes. Okay. You can't go an hour here. You've got to really pace yourself. And if you need to kind of pull one thing out, you don't have to message together on the call. You can give them that as a micro commitment to end the call. Okay, so really kind of feel this out and pace yourself with this. Have a notepad next to you so you stay on track. Okay, that's going to be really important because you are like building trust right from this very beginning. Okay, Zoom 2, talk more about posting. We should be about 3 days into sharing at this point. So talk more about posting. Talk about what you've done from the beginning, posting, sharing your story. Talk about sharing family photos and things like that, right? You can talk about what this could look like. I remember when I started sharing, Paige was like, personal post, Plexus post, engagement post. Now, I know that's not the same thing, but it gave me 3 things to do a day. And y'all, I checked that list because I had big goals. I was literally posting 3 times a day for my first probably 3 or 4 years of Plexus. And then the algorithm started shifting, right? I started trying to figure out how to share my story. I really think if you start people Every other day, Plexus personal, Plexus personal. With stories, that's going to be a really great starting point. What we want to do is share excitement, and we want to get them in the routine of posting. Okay. We're going to add people to the list on Zoom number 2. Hey, did you think of anybody else that you might want to tell about what you're doing? What about some neighbors? What about, right? And then we're going to invite some people to the event that they have. And Zoom 3 is really going to be kind of a pick up the pulse. Have they enrolled people yet? Okay, this is probably about 6, maybe 7 days into their journey of sharing. Have they enrolled new people yet? Have they pulled you into 3-way messages, right? Have they added their customers to the Wellness Warrior community? Do you need to talk to them about customer care at this point, right? Help them put people on a calendar. This is really, the third Zoom is kind of a probably your first kind of training Zoom of hopefully they have a customer or 2 by now, and you can kind of start plugging them into this system. And y'all, then here's what I'm going to tell you. See how it went. Do you need to schedule 3 more Zooms the next week? I think some people need this level of help, of collaboration, of guidance. And I'm going to be honest, there is a level of earn your pay. Earn your pay. Don't just leave this to blow to the wind, right? Earn your pay. So let's talk about what that pay is. Okay, I'm going to pull this back up again. I don't know that everybody realizes this. The Fast Start program is 5 full calendar months long. Okay. That's what we're looking at here, is how to get them started in the first 5 months of sharing Plexus. You guys, what if most people that started sharing, you helped achieve Fast Start Gold? That was the normal. But it wasn't just from they posted and enrolled 20 people, right? What if it was because you had systems of success in place and you got confident at developing and helping people launch businesses? And y'all, this is where different teams have email blasts that they're sending out and different things like that they're doing. But I really do believe, each one of you individually are going to have to grow confident in this, right? I don't want to come in and just send here, plug them into my email list here. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. There are seasons for everything, but I think all of you want to learn how to do this. That's what I'm being told, is I want to learn how to develop new shares. And so that's what we're going to talk about here. So we've got, yes, I'll share it. We've got silver in 7 days. And then we've got, let me find this and send it. That way you can pull it up on your phones. And then we've got Fast Start Senior Silver at the end of the second full calendar month. Great. Yeah, second full calendar month. Okay. Basically what that means is if somebody upgraded to brand ambassador today, they would have until the end of July to achieve Fast Start Senior Silver. Okay. It is our jobs when somebody starts sharing to, in the 3-way messages they pull us in with their new customers, to drip the business with those new customers. I want to see more people achieving gold and senior silver with sharers under them than what we're seeing a lot of right now. Okay. Most people aren't going to be able to achieve gold without helping other people share to get there. And I think what we see across the board in Plexus is that we are really good at developing fast start golds when they post and then they just grow and they have 30 likes and comments and people are messaging them and saying, hey, send me the link to what you're doing, right? But where we really struggle is in this developing new shares, like in the people with average influence, people who aren't super confident and haven't done this before, right? We can struggle there. And so I think if we can kind of wrap our minds around what this looks like, that's going to be really helpful. So silver is 3 VIPs with a 100 PV order in a single month. Senior silver is 50 pay points. Okay. That's about 10 people ordering under them in the same calendar month. Ideally, and I think I'm sharing ideal, they would have developed a silver by the time they achieve senior silver. Okay. What that's going to do is really decrease the number of senior silvers that are going senior silver and falling off. Because they did it themselves. Maybe their customers fell off and now they're back at 20 pay points. And I just don't really see how this is going to work out. Right? If you can help somebody achieve senior silver and have somebody under them sharing by that point, that is going to be really, really helpful. Gold is the next step. And that is by the end of the 3rd calendar month. And what you're seeing here is we actually have a pretty big gap between helping somebody go silver in 7 days and the end of the 2nd full calendar month for senior silver. You guys, I would say if somebody is actively wanting to build a business, helping them achieve senior silver by the end of their 1st full calendar month, and then having 2 months to achieve fast start gold is going to be a better scenario for you. That is going to be something that feels more doable because we don't necessarily want people to achieve gold from having 20 personal level ones order. We really want to use those 2 months to start teaching duplication, business ownership, helping them feel confident about like, y'all, I mean, Stephanie Tapia and Stacy are both silver ambassadors in here learning how to do business asks. Business asks at silver. Y'all, were you doing business asks at silver? No, but we have to change how this is going because what we're seeing is people are achieving gold or senior gold and having no shares. And then they're trying to figure it out and feeling like a failure and all of the mindset stuff that comes into that. And so if we can normalize this from the beginning and pave that road by us being really confident in it, right? Then that's going to help everybody. That's going to help everybody move forward in this sustainable way. So fast start gold, end of the 3rd calendar month. And y'all, that is where I would say that is our responsibility. Okay. Helping people share to achieve fast start gold by the end of their 3rd calendar month. Those 3 months, that's where we are like responsible for this, if that makes sense. And I think sometimes we don't understand that and we just are like, oh, it just didn't work out, right? Or like, oh, they just didn't have influence and I didn't really know what to do. And then it kind of petered off. But if you're starting the conversation, again, these aren't just shouter outers. These are people who say, I want the business and I want it at a substantial pace. If we can learn how to help them, then we're going to be able to help other people at a slower pace. But I think we're all good at helping people at slow paces. We struggle with the fast pace. Right. And so you get really good at this. It's like, if you can run a marathon, you can run a half marathon. But if you can run a half marathon, you can't run a marathon. And so it's kind of the same thing. If you can run a marathon, a 5K is easy. You don't even stretch for it. Right. So same thing. We got to get good at helping what could be the best, not only good at helping people who maybe came in at the speed we came in at or those kind of things. And so our responsibility is through the first 3 months. And at that point, y'all, we've got places to plug them in. They can join Growing to Joel that we have on Thursday nights. They're going to be plugging into Motivation Mondays and all the different Plexus calls that they do for training. They can go to Gold School. They can go to the Gold Party. Like, right, all of these things that Plexus has in place for golds specifically to get that training. So if we can get them there, I mean, how many, you guys, if you could go to Gold School and say, oh yeah, I already developed 3 or 4 silvers. What? Genevieve would be like, what? Okay. Well, just help them grow. But what happens is most of us go to Gold School and we're like, I've never done a business S ever in my life. The only person that shared with me was my mom who shouted me out, right? So this is what we're doing, and this is why we're having this conversation. Just so you have an idea of what also remains in the Fast Start program, you can achieve Fast Start Senior Gold Ruby and Senior Ruby. All of those end on the 5th calendar month, and you get double those bonuses, or half of the bonuses. So the share gets double the bonus up here. You get half of the bonus right here. And for those of you who are really using this, I am on the slow start plan for Senior Ruby. You were on the fast start plan to Ruby, sister. So yeah. Are you unmuting yourself? No. Okay. I want to kind of open it for like questions and conversation. Is this helpful, hearing like, what is my job? What is not my job? Can we control what people do? Can we guide them if they are willing? Yes. Can we do a better job guiding them with more urgency and a better map so that we're not wandering in the wilderness for 40 years? Yeah. Moses was like right there, like the whole time, just right there, so close. I feel like that's us sometimes. Okay, I would love for y'all to unmute yourselves and just hear from you. Questions, wrestlings, thoughts, all of that.
I guess I have a question, and I don't really know how I want to ask it, but basically my question is how to do a better job at casting vision for people. Like, like why is it worth their time? I feel like that's what I'm hearing from people is like, I don't have the time, I'm already so busy, whatever. So how can I become more confident in sharing why this is even why it's worth it? I know it's worth it, but like,
What's your vision?
What's my vision? Honestly, to help more women do exactly what I've done and have the ability to do what I've done that want it. To be able to come home from jobs that don't fulfill them anymore, to be more present with their families.
Okay,
That's
the question. What was your vision?
to get my products paid for. I mean, that's literally, I just needed my products paid for. And then I wanted to work
There
less.
was more there though. Yeah. Okay, talk about that.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
How did it feel to be able to work less? Is that what
How
you're
did
talking
it feel when you started Plexus and you got the cost of your products covered and then you saw the opportunity for more?
Yeah, I mean, it felt exciting and it felt worth me spending the time on this, doing the things that I was being asked to do.
What were
Yeah.
some emotions? Were you frustrated? Were
Oh,
you
for
hoping to
sure.
be home more, like missing your
Yes.
babies? Okay,
Yeah.
so tell me about that.
Yeah. I think it was the stress of childcare and like having to figure out who was going to watch my kids while I slept, while I was still on nights, or when I went back to days, and just being frustrated at the things I was being asked to do at work that I no longer wanted to be. I didn't care about it. Is that terrible? So yeah, unappreciated at work. Thank you, Kim.
I think sometimes, Allie, it is if you tell somebody like my heart is helping more women find freedom from home, they're not gonna, that's not an emotional thing. Now, I understand where you're at saying that because I've been here for your whole journey, right? But if the conversation is like, hey, look, like I know that this is going to take time, but here's where I was when I started. I was nursing nights. I had just had Jack. I was really struggling with some of the things that they were asking me to do at work at this time. And I really hated being away from my kids and trying to navigate being a night nurse and present during the day and sending my kids to daycare. And I just remember looking at my husband and saying, like, I want my time back. Like, I want my life back. This is not what I wanted. And
Yeah.
when I started sharing Plexus, I really just needed to get the cost of my products covered. And then I saw what some of my friends were doing, what type of income they were making. And I remember thinking for the first time, like, what if this could be that for me? Like, what if this could give me my time back? What if this could take my busyness and let it be on my terms and not everybody else's terms? Like, what if this could be that? And I don't know if that's your story at all, but I'm just wondering, like, would it be worth it to give 30 minutes 3 times a week to see if like this could give you some of that freedom too?
Yep.
I think sometimes we just rush and we don't paint the picture of what this could be. I also think if there are going to be people who are not interested in this. Okay? They just aren't. There are going to be people who aren't interested in this. Either they are stay-at-home moms and their husbands bring in $500,000 a year and they just don't need to work, okay? And they don't want to. Cool. Would you want to be a part of this? Like, right, we have other questions we can ask. Do you want to be part of this community, or are you looking for friends, like that kind of thing? But like looking for business builders, most of those people, I would say 99%, are going to be moms who need to bring income, women who need to bring income, or men like Luther Harris who are done playing the game of working for somebody else's dream, right? And so I think that's the answer, Allie, is like, you're not looking for everybody. And so like, if Susie doesn't have time for this, then like go find somebody who does. I think that's where, but Susie gave me a shout out post and I really thought she was gonna do this with me. And it's like, great, now we're having the clarifying conversation where Susie actually doesn't want to do this with you and she doesn't want to carve out the time. She was just a referrer. And that's okay because now we're gonna go find other people who want to do this. Is that helpful, Allie? Are you picking up your kids? It's all good. You're muted, but that's okay. I don't know what she said, but yep. Okay. What other questions do you guys have? Michelle said, I remember how it felt to scramble for childcare and have it. Yeah. Yeah. And Michelle, honestly, like, look, you may not know this about me, but 7 years ago, I was working 3 different jobs to bring in some income for our family. And I see you doing that. And I remember how it felt. And when my cousin told me about this, I remember having the thought, like, gosh, I wonder if I did this, if I could drop like 2 of those things, right? Like that's going to be a vision that they can buy into, like that they can see themselves in. Okay. Solve the problem they have. And also getting on the phone to hear the problem they have. Okay, what else, y'all? Yeah, Kim, I thought you had a stable job too, and then it went away. And I was so grateful to have Plexus in place because I wouldn't have known what to do without any additional income coming in. Yep.
like, I mean, I wasn't in for the business in the beginning because I was like, I'm bringing in good money. Like, this is fun money. But so, like, I mean, there could be people that are that way too. Like, oh, I have a great job, but it's like, this is an uncertain time in the world. Like, no job is locked in either, And it's, I mean, what do we tell everybody all the time? It's smart to have additional income streams.
Yeah. Rachel.
Sorry, the stupid keyboard came up and I couldn't figure out how to get that to go down. Yeah. So how do you, like, I get that with like the unstable job. Has it come across people's minds? Like, what do you say when people say, well, Plexus might not be around forever? Or like, does this mean that you have to be on these products forever? I mean, I guess I don't know if that's necessarily geared towards business, but like, especially with business and thinking with that mindset, let's address that first.
So like, my answer is like, look, I know that you don't know what I know. And you're not as familiar with the executives as I am, but I can tell you that every decision that has been made by the leadership in Plexus from the time I've been a part of the company has put brand ambassadors first. Every single decision. Every one.
Yeah.
We're a debt-free company. You throw that word around and people are like, oh, y'all, do you realize most of the reasons companies make bad decisions is because they're in debt? Or their money is not great? Like, that's mostly why bad decisions are made and companies are sold and all of these things happen. They change formulations of things, right? Like, because they got to get out of debt. We're not in debt. Every decision at every point from Plexus executives has considered brand ambassadors and employees and put them first. I trust them so much, so much. And the more you are there and with people, getting to know Jean and Alec and even Tarl, like, you will see, like, oh, what happened at Beauty Counter? It's not happening here. Okay. It's just not. When Jean was named president, he'd been on staff for multiple years. And there were other people they were considering for that job. And they said, you know what? No, we know Jean. We know his character. He's going to put the people first. Tarl did use his COVID salary in 2020 to cover employees whose family members had lost jobs. Yeah. His whole salary he gave back. Yeah. That's not normal. No, Kim, that's not normal. And it's not waived, like, it's not, it's like one employee was like, oh my gosh, did y'all know that Tarl did this for us? And then it like makes its way around and people are like, holy moly, he did that. Nobody made him do that. Why'd he do that? Because he loves people. As for the products, Rachel, it's like brushing your teeth. You don't have to brush your teeth forever, but you don't want to know what's going to happen. Like, you ain't coming close to me. That's for sure. And you're going to spend money on some fake teeth that look real good. Like, you don't have to take Plexus forever. It usually takes about 6 months for you to start feeling like crap again. It takes about a week for your poop to stop up again. And like, if you want to go back to feeling like you were, great. But like, I'm not going to stop taking the products. So I don't have to worry about that because I trust the company and I trust that they're going to be here. But I think too, y'all, that is why, like, coming to events, going to local events, like where I'm sure like Danny and Rosie, like meeting Genevieve, you were like putting a face with a name and being like, oh my goodness, she's actually incredible in person, right? Like, she actually genuinely is excited to be here and wants to see us succeed, because she does. I can text Genevieve right now. Like, we have become friends and she wants to see us all grow. Like there's just something different there. That's a great question though, Rachel. And I think too, like if people are asking you that question, the question back should be like, oh yeah, like I don't actually worry about that with Plexus because we're debt free and we have incredible executives. Like, have you been like a part of a company that closed their doors before? Like, get curious about that and just ask. What else, y'all? These are good questions. Rosie.
Me. Hi. My struggle right now is like how to cast the vision to my people that most of them, they know me as a baker, as a business owner, but a physical business, right? And how to cast the vision like, okay, this is, as a business, this is better. Like, why did I change my online academy to this one? So because it's like
Yeah.
I'm like talking to my community, but it's like nobody is hearing anything. It feels like that right now. So it's like, I'm feeling stuck in that way. Like
Well,
at the beginning was a big influence.
mhm.
They are there, but now it's like, okay, but I'm gonna continue with my bakery. I'm trying to build my own business. Like, okay, I'm offering you another business. So it's like,
Mhm.
what is that?
I think two things. One, they came to you for your baking, and that's no longer who you are. Okay.
Mhm.
And so there has to be some understanding that some people are no longer going to want your services. Right?
Mhm.
Like they came to you for that, and like that's no longer what you're doing. And so like they aren't really interested in Rosie as a health and wellness provider. And that's okay. It doesn't mean they can't glean wisdom from your content, and it doesn't mean they'll never get there. But I think it's like, okay, I'm trying to think of like an example of this. Um, I had a friend and she sold cakes. That's so funny. She sold cakes and I had ordered a cake from her. And then she started selling jewelry. And she was like, but don't you want to buy jewelry from me too? And I was like, no, I don't have a need for jewelry. Actually, I'm very simple and I don't want your jewelry and I don't like that style. And like, I'm actually not interested at all. And she's like, but you bought my cake. Like I did, and I needed that, and I want to support you, and like I'm so proud of you. Nope, not right now. You're gonna have to give me a minute. And I want you to succeed, but like I'm not a potential client of yours. And so I think there has to be this like almost release of like they came to you for your baking services, and now you've changed that. And while some people may bridge that gap and be like, oh my gosh, like I've heard of Plexus, or wow, um, I think the story you need to be telling is taking them through the transition. Like, I used to do this and now I do this, and here's why. And I literally, Rosie, think that can be almost all of your reels. You know how people talk about just say the same thing over and over and over and over again? Just like, I was in a traditional business. And here's what was frustrating me. Right? The pain points. I was only making money when I sold things. I was having to work late nights, and the cost of supplies was going up, and all like the pain points. And then my cousin presented me with this opportunity, and those pain points weren't there anymore. And I saw the future that I wanted, which was me making more and working less. And that is now why I'm doing this. So your target market actually becomes frustrated entrepreneurs who are sick of the grind, right? Who have the same pain points you had. Because while you are looking to enroll 3-ish new customers a month, right? What you're actually looking for is other people who are frustrated business owners who are looking for a different opportunity. Right?
Yes.
And so instead of trying to change all of your baking clients to Plexus clients, tell a different story.
Mama, they have.
We'll have snack time after I'm done. Okay? I'll tell you when. Go.
Yeah, now I see it more clearly right now because
Is that helpful?
I'm still, yes, I'm still feeling like I'm in a transition. And I was talking to someone like, yes, I want the people that is still waiting for me as a baker. I want them just to go away. Okay, I'm not doing this anymore. But it's like, so I need to talk there more to the entrepreneurs that are frustrated right now.
Well, and Rosie, that could even
Baker
be,
and non-bakers, like it's
Right.
entrepreneur in general, right?
that could even be a reach out message. Like, look, I know you came to me for baking. Here's why I'm no longer doing that. But I am actually looking for like-minded women who want to do this. Would you be open to a conversation? Right? Like, Danny.
I just wanted to share that when Rosie shares with me or in front, when we are together and she shares the way that she was earning money with the academy and the way that she earns now the same thing, less hours, and still she can do lots of things that she couldn't do it before. I'm always like, "Ah," right? Maybe you just need to repeat and repeat that. Just that part. She always does. And I'm always like, why? Right? She's earning the same, yeah, now, but she's working less and she's doing more of the things that she enjoys, right?
Mhm.
I always think about that, like, to repeat that. And I always say, yes, that's the way. Less hours, the same amount, maybe, yes. Not the amount that she wants to, the income, not yet. But that's maybe the message that you need to repeat more often in social media.
Well, and like, this is just the beginning, right? Like, I think about like when I was doing graphic design and even when I considered opening my own, like, business from home, like, I would only get paid for work that I did and it was hourly. So like, if I wanted to make more money, I had to work more hours. And yeah, as I got better and better, I could charge more hourly, right? But like, I was still going to have to work a certain number of hours a week to make the income. And I think what's so beautiful about this is like, there are seasons where I have leaned in and I may work 5-6 hour days, but that is not the majority of the time in this business. Most days it's 2 to 3 hours while my kids are at school. That may increase as more kids go to school, right? And I bring in more coaching and things like that. But like, that's the story, Rosie. Like, that's who you're looking for. And so I think focus less on turning those people into customers and focus more on, oh, maybe some of them are frustrated entrepreneurs. Maybe some of them are frustrated in their baking businesses like I was. Maybe some of them would be open to this if they knew what I was doing with it, right? Where this was headed, what my vision is. All right, y'all. Any more questions? So, homework today, similar to last week. Business asks. Y'all, every week I want us to be more comfortable in doing this. So I'm going to say at this point, I'm just going to bring y'all in on my homework because I have to do it 3 a day, 5 days a week. Okay. Who can these be to? Y'all, if you're in a 3-way message and you ask about the business, that counts. Okay. Like that, I'm not going to be like, oh, no, like this doesn't count. And I'm not telling who did it and who didn't. This is like the self accountability thing. Okay. When you're being told, this is what I'm doing. If I were you, I would do this also, because there's not a single person on this screen who doesn't need more leader legs. Okay. So 3 business asks a day, 5 days a week. We're going to take weekends off, or Sunday and Monday, I know is what Julie takes off, like 2 consecutive days of mental just break. Be present with your family. Okay. You can do that when you're clear on what you're doing with your time and what your actions are. Okay. 3 business asks a day, voice messages, got really comfortable with it. And y'all, here's the thing, and I'm just going to say this, like nothing changes if nothing changes. Okay. And I know that not everybody did 10 business asks last week. Like, I get it. That can be really intimidating. It can get thrown to the wayside. Oh, I'll do it later. Don't. Like, don't. If you want to grow your business, commit to doing that thing. It can be past customers, it can be through messages, it can be prospects, it can be replying to somebody's story. It can be a myriad of things, okay? Just practice and do it. Maybe today you go look for 3 old customers or 3 happy customers and you just message them and you look at it as practice. I don't know what they're going to say. Tracy told me to do this. I'm going to practice and get better. I'm going to practice and get better. I'm going to practice and get better. Here's what I'm doing. Here's where I'm going. Here's why I think you should do this with me. Would you be open to a conversation? Okay. Voice messages. If you can. Can't, type it up. If you need a script, write it down. Okay. Y'all, Hunter, did you have a question? I felt like that was your hand, like, oh, glasses. I'm really excited for where we're going, and we'll be back here next week at 1 p.m. At that point, like from start to the end of next week, you'll have sent 25 business asks. For some of y'all, that's more than you've sent in like your entire career with Plexus, and you'll have done it in 2 weeks. Okay. This is how we make change. This is how we move forward. This is how we say, like, okay, we're shifting, we're changing things. Go look at Julie's jot form, get that up maybe this weekend, take some time to do that. You'll also see a health questionnaire jot form. I definitely recommend doing that too. Just that way it's tools. It's all tools. Hey, Michelle, I saw you're interested in the products. Can you fill out this jot form and I'll send you more info, right? Just these things. 3 a day, Danny. 3 a day. Yep. All right, y'all. Happy Friday. We're on summer break officially. Yay. Bye, y'all.